If you want to get your own video made for you, exactly the same as you'll see in this one, then check out the first link in the description to get your personal PowerPoint made. Private option available. Okay, so we got our next customer. He's 24 years old, 5'11", and from USA. And as usual, we'll be starting off with his best features. So first of all, your eye shape is very good. Just going through a couple of these pictures, we can see that I think your eyes are probably your best feature. They actually look very similar to the ideal examples that we have here. And it's clearly this almond shape, so it's a very good positive for you. And I think that they're haloed even more, the fact that your eyes are blue. They're this light, vibrant blue color. And if I had to guess, I think you would get most compliments for your eyes, because your eye area in general, it's definitely halified, and I think that it will get a lot of these compliments, and a lot of girls will view your eye area as attractive. And that's combined with the fact that you've also got very good eyebrows, and they're good in both terms of thickness. The ideal thickness is when they are dense like this, they've got a good fiber count, they're a dark color, and yours exactly match this, so it's an attractive feature. And you also have a good shape. So the ideal shape is when they're this flattened curve, and as we can see, your eyebrows are very similar to the ideal examples that we have over here. So when we combine all of these features related to your eyes, I think they're definitely your best feature, and you'll get a lot of compliments for them. Usually it's not good enough to just have a good eye shape and then not a good eyebrows, because they do complement each other, and when you have both, then they can make you look even better and make your eye area even more attractive. So as a whole, I think that your eye area is by far your best feature, but some of your other features that we'll get to as well aren't weak either. So I just wanted to make sure I made it clear that your eyes are by far and away the best feature, and would be a reason that a lot of girls would want to go out with you and would give you compliments for it. And next, I think another one of your best features is your hair. If I had to guess another feature that a lot of girls would like you for and would think that is attractive, is your hair. It's a good texture, and in general, your pheno is good. This is actually one of the best phenos to have, by the way, if not the best. Like, I don't understand the Nordic glaze that you see in a lot of the BP space. It's just crystal clear, based on who I've seen in the real world. Like, I'm all about focusing on the real world, and I know that when I look at the guys doing the best in the real world, they're this pheno. They have dense, dark hair, like, and yours is a good thickness as well. So this is what you would want. And they also have light skin with like a slight amount of color, like a little bit of tinge, like not too dark, not really tanned, and not pale either. Like, this is the ideal pheno, guys. So stop it with the Nordic glaze. Blonde hair just doesn't look as good, and it's not as contrasting, not as attractive as when you have the dark hair and light skin combo. And that's also why I think that the English pheno is the best as a whole. Like, guys from UK, most attractive in the world in my opinion. Maybe not as much good facially compared to Nordic guys. I would say they're slightly better, but just in terms of pheno, there's no comparison. I think that English guys mog slightly just because of the pheno advantage that they have, because most of them have the dark hair and light skin combo, unlike the Nordic countries. But anyway, digressing a little bit, but back to you. I think that your pheno is very good, and even though it's not mentioned here because this isn't anything to do with facial aesthetics or structure, it still is a very big reason for why a lot of girls would want to go out with you, because as I've said in a lot of videos before, pheno is actually the second most important factor after face. It's more important than height, it's more important than physique. If you have a good face and pheno, as long as you're not crazy short, then you're in good shape. And for you, given the above average facial aesthetics and the decent height, average-ish height, and the optimal pheno, then you're not going to have any issues. So coinciding with this, I think that your hair is very good, and you've also got a good hairline. It's hard to see exactly where your hairline is, but just from what I can see in terms of the density and where it sits on your face, I'm guessing it's going to be quite square. It's going to be similar to these examples that we have over here. The ideal hairline is where it's a square like this. You don't want any recession around the temple areas. And for you, your hair definitely looks well textured, good density, and no signs of receding. So I think that your hair is your second best feature after your eyes. Next, in terms of your general health indicators, your facial definition is very good. We can see that there's a lot of definition around the jawline. It's similar to these ideal examples. And in the face in general, it's there as well. So you've got like a little bit of this dovetailing cheekbones going on. So I think that your face is lean, and it's another positive feature for you. Next, you've also got a long ramus. So going to the side angle, we can see that your ramus, which is this bone here, shoots down, and it's very similar to the ideal example that we have over here. So there's no issues there whatsoever. Next, you also have a straight mandible, and we do have one flaw with regard to your jawline that we'll get into in a little bit, but just in terms of the mandible, which is this bone here being straight, it checks the box and it's very similar to the ideal, so another high testosterone, masculine and attractive feature. Next, you also have a good chin projection. As we can see, your chin projects forward like this. It's similar to the ideal, so another positive feature. Next, you also have clear skin, so I don't think there's any problems with that. It's another good health indicator and a positive and attractive feature that you have. And you also have a fairly broad chin. It's pretty similar to the ideal. You don't want a narrow chin because that just looks low testosterone. It's more of a woman's chin, and yours is broad and masculine, which is attractive, so it's another positive feature for you. And finally, I think that your lip thickness is pretty decent as well. I would say that your upper lip is maybe a tiny bit so on the thinner side, but as a whole, your lips are still a positive feature, and the way that I grade these features for whether they make the list of best features or flaws is as long as something is mostly a positive, even though it might be ever so slightly negative, then it's still going to make it into the best features. But if something is more negative than it is positive, then it's going to make it into the flaw side. So I still think your lips are good as a whole, and it's a good feature for you. Next, now getting into your flaws, which you have slightly less of, but there's still a few noticeable ones. First, I think that your mid-face is a little bit too long, and it's especially noticeable in this photo. I think that you probably have a 1 to 1.1 mid-face ratio. I've not measured it, but it just looks a little bit too long for me compared to the ideal. Now, unfortunately, this photo was taken closer up, which does exacerbate this flaw, and it actually exacerbates another one of the flaws that we're going to get to in a second, because as we can see, your face looks longer in this picture because the camera was taken so close to your face. And it doesn't look as bad as some of the other photos like this one, where it's taken a lot further back. Your face looks a little bit more compact, but still a little bit too long for my liking. So I think that your face is a little bit too long, and it's probably your biggest flaw in my opinion. Next, I also think that you have a little bit of facial asymmetry, and it's noticeable in this one because this picture was taken a little bit more square. We can see just a little bit of facial asymmetry with regard to the jawline, with the nose, tiny bit of the eyes maybe. And it's another minor flaw, but it's not enough to super notice. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Next, the other flaw that I was saying that's noticeable because this picture was taken so up close is that your nose is a little bit oversized. And when you take a picture closer up, your nose just naturally looks better. As we can see, it's not as big of a flaw in this image, which was taken further back. But it's worth noting that even in the side profile or the front picture, it's still just a little bit too big for my liking, and it would be better if it was a bit more refined. But obviously, it looks worse in this picture because it was taken so up close. Next, you also have a short chin to philtrum ratio. So the ideal is where you have a 1 to 2 ratio, but in this image, and the other one as well, it looks yours is more like a 1 for your philtrum and a 1.5 for your chin, which isn't crazy bad, but it's still not as masculine as the ideal, so it's another minor flaw. And finally, I think that the flaw with regard to your jawline that I alluded to earlier is that your jawline just lacks enough forward growth. It would be better if it was projected a little bit further forward like this, because if you compare to the ideal example, that's what his does here. This is a very strong, very masculine jawline, but yours is just a tiny bit recessed. It's not crazy bad, but I just think your jawline would be better if it was more forward grown to this sort of range instead of where it actually is here. But anyways, those are all of the flaws. We only have a few of them. So now getting into some looksmaxing advice for you. How can we make you more attractive given the best features and flaws that we have? So first, I think your hairstyle suits you, and especially given you're on the younger side, you're 24, that if you go for this longer on the top, and yeah, as a general point, the younger you are, if you're like 25 or younger, then you can get away with having a longer hair, and it actually can help you, such as you see in this example here. But given the fact you're 24, I think within the next couple of years, you'd want to think about changing that. You'd want to go for a style that is more crisp, more refined, similar to these guys who are probably closer to your age range, maybe a couple years older. And I think that that looks more attractive as you get older because you can't stay a pretty boy forever, even though it might get you good results now and a lot of girls give you compliments on it. If you're the 28-year-old guy with a mop on your head, it's just not a good look, and it's better to just generally go for that sharper, more refined look the older you get. So I think that your hair suits you for now, but I'd just consider changing it as you get older. Next, I think that your jawline is also one of your best features, and I wouldn't worry about growing facial hair at best. You would want to grow a tiny bit of stubble, and maybe you want to look into that into your late 20s because, again, you're going for that more rugged, refined, masculine look. But for now, I think that your jawline is a positive, and you don't want to hide one of your best features or anything by growing some massive beard. And if you stay clean shaven or at most grow a little bit of stubble, which it seems you have the capabilities to do, then you might want to do that just to enhance it a bit. So I would stay clean shaven for now, and at most I would grow a little bit of stubble. Next, height maxing, just to grow a little bit taller, because you're 5'11", which is pretty much an average height for your country. I think USA, depending on what state you're in, if you're in one of the northern states, this is the average height, but the southerns where more of the people from Latin America reside, then the average height I think is actually like 5'8" or 5'9" in those regions. But assuming that you're in one of the states where there's more guys that are similar pheno to you, such as the northern states, then I think wearing a shoe lifts will, or at least shoes that add 1 to 2 inches, will help you, because you don't need to go crazy here, but just 1 or 2 inches enough to get to that 6 foot range will be good enough. And it's just a easy instant way to make yourself more attractive as a whole. So I think that it would be a no-brainer to do that, and once you get to 6 foot, you're completely fine. You can get away with putting it in your bio on dating apps for once. Next, I think that your physique is very good, and you're 80 kg at 5'11", which is a good weight for your size. It seems you've got a decent amount of muscle mass. Maybe you could lean max ever so slightly, but it seems that your body fat percentage is around 13, 14, 15%, which is still good enough. And especially the fact that your face is lean, but maybe your body could be a little bit leaner just to get more muscle around these arms. But either way, given your physique is attractive like this, I think that you could pull off the muscle fit, which is where you wear tight clothes like this, and it just exacerbates how masculine and developed your physique is, especially your upper body, like your arms, shoulders, chest area. And the reason I'm saying this isn't because, because I know there's probably going to be some people in the comments saying like, oh no, he should stick with baggy clothes or oversized fit, whatever. But I don't listen to speculators or theorists. Like, the difference between philosophers and doers, and I've always viewed myself as a doer, is I do what's best for me. And just as some general advice, one of the most important questions you can ever ask yourself for anything, in fact, this applies to anything in life, is what's best for me. Just do what's best for you. Don't think about, oh, what does the theory say, or what does other people say, or what's the standard advice, what's recommended. Your best port of call, your best course of action for anything is do what's best for me. And I just know that in my experience, as someone who has a similar physique to you, but a little bit smaller, like I'm 77 kg and an inch shorter, so I'm probably in a similar shape to you. I've worn Muscle Fit, and it's gotten me better results. It's gotten me more choosing signals, more attractive girls, more girls are showing interest in me. So if you're like a slightly better physique than me, and I can get better choosing signals for it, then I'm sure that it would work the same for you as well. So I would recommend Muscle Fit. At least give it a go, and if it's best for you, then stick with it. Don't listen to what anyone else says. And finally, I'd recommend exposure maxing, because, given all of these positive things that we've been saying, it's clear that you would have potential to get good success, and there's no point letting those go to waste. Obviously, you're 24 years old, you've got a lot of potential, and this is one of the best ages you can be in to have a broad range of women that you can meet. You can go out to night game, you can download apps, you're going to be in the age recommendations for a lot of girls that would have you in their settings, or you can meet girls in the daytime. So I think doing a combination of both will be best for you, because unfortunately, even if you are above average as a guy, you're not going to get any girls if you just spend your whole life sitting indoors as a basement dweller Chad. it's not going to work like that. So I think that exposure maxing will definitely work for you, and it will maximize the chances that you can find the goal you want or have multiple short-term things, whatever it is you're looking for. The point is, you're not going to find someone by just staying at home. So you have to do this exposure maxing when you've reached a certain looks level. Anyway, now finally, getting to all of these to the final rating, once we combine all of the best features and the flaws, my final rating for you is 7 out of 10. I think you're clearly above average, and here's some guys that will be on a similar looks level to you, and I'm sure a lot of people will agree with this. I wouldn't have any issues or worries if I was you. 7 out of 10 is definitely a very solid rating. And now getting to what your rating means. So you scored in the top 10% to top 2% of men, and only 2% scored higher than you, which is an 8 out of 10. 90% scored lower than you. So you're in this top 10% range, which is definitely a comfortable position to be in. And when we combine this with the pheno, which I think just makes it even more easier for you, then it's going to be very easy for you to find a girlfriend, provided that you don't have any other issues like NDness that I've addressed in previous videos, because that can really screw things up. But provided that you're NT, then you're not going to have any problems. And in fact, out of all of the guys that we've seen so far, if I could choose to be one who I know that I would have an easy time getting girls with, I'd probably say that you've been the best of what we've seen so far, in terms of the public videos, that is, because I just know that, you're slightly higher SMV than me. Like, if I'm a 6 and you're a 7, I know that I can get success in the country you live, well, at least the red state areas. And if you're a better pheno than me, and you're slightly better facially attractive and physique than me, and I can get success in these areas, and you mog me in all of these departments, then there's no reasons that you wouldn't be able to find someone. It should be a walk in the park, because I know I can get success in the red state areas of where you live. So there's no reason, given the fact that you have a better pheno and everything like this, that you wouldn't be able to replicate the same. So I don't think there's any issues, and you should have it fairly easy going forward. It's just about exposure maxing, implementing the other advice, and you'll see the results starting to come in. If you want to get your own video made for you, exactly the same as you'll see in this one, then check out the first link in the description to get your personal PowerPoint made. Private option available.